Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's completely brutal to be here at this time, stopping you from lunch. But this is the task we are given. So I think today's conversation, if you're okay with it, Biju, then let's keep it as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
And we have not prepared anything, but because I saw your LinkedIn profile, I made some questions, and I was thinking that maybe we start off with that. But maybe we start with the introduction first.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay, thank you, Nisha. So myself, Bijuraj, I am heading HR Dassault System India. Uh, so after meeting all of you guys, I was feeling a little, nervous because I moved to HR a couple of years back. So I am an engineer by profession, and I joined Dassault System back in 2002 as a developer. And I was with R&D for almost like 15, 16 years, and I started heading services, and I was there for 8, 9 years, and then moved to HR in 2022 end, 2023 beginning. So it's my second year in HR. So pardon me if I'm making any mistake. So I'll be talking more from business side and how we are working, closely working with business from HR side. I think that's going to help.
Great. My name is Nisha, as you already see on the screen behind. I work with Volkswagen Group India. This is my 13th year in the organization. Just maybe for everybody's understanding, Volkswagen in this country also hosts 5 brands, which is Skoda, Volkswagen itself, Audi, Porsche, and Lamborghini, and very soon we'll also have Bentley joining us. We have 2 manufacturing plants, one in Chakan and the other in Aurangabad, and of course we also have a sales and marketing unit. My current role is leading talent and training for the entire group in India, and I'm looking forward to this conversation with you, Biju.
Absolutely. So I was asking Nisha, why did you stop polo? So she said, we are not going to
yeah,
have
for
it
now.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is one of the pain points that we've had in our organization, and like I said, I want to be authentic and real about the problems we have in our organization, and that is related to onboarding.
Okay.
So I'm really keen on understanding that how in your organization are you using technology in your onboarding process?
Yeah, it's a very valid and interesting question, Nisha. So for me, onboarding cannot be completely automated, and according to me, we should not automate onboarding 100%, because then you will lose the human touch, because that's the place where you need human touch. But still, we have a lot of automation in place in terms of candidate identification, shortlisting, and even the initial screening. We have some automated test bank available. And then once you have the interview, the real face-to-face interviews done, from there, almost everything is automated. Okay. In terms of the document collection and validation and proofreading, and then once everything is done, how it is connected with the payroll system, PVS system, everything is now automated. Okay, but I still feel that you need that, especially in talent acquisition team, you should not, I cannot say you should not, I suggest not to have 100% automation without seeing a person, using AI, taking that person into your organization. That may not work well. So you need automation for post-processing and some of the pre-processing. So that we have already done. So we have some tools integrated with all these 3 systems, so that now seamlessly we are able to take the details from candidates.
Okay. That's interesting. Because when it comes to our onboarding process, because it's a manufacturing setup,
yeah.
We have perhaps only human interaction. And maybe this is a good learning for us, that somewhere like you are saying that there has to be a bit more human interaction.
Absolutely.
And I think I am wanting a bit of technology coming into this process.
So since we are a technology company, we are more towards automating. So I'm not saying we should not, we should, but then there should be a human interaction to have that connect and create that experience before you onboard somebody. That's my, yeah. I was also going through your LinkedIn profile, and I had discussed with Disha to get more details about you. And after having interaction, I thought I'll have a couple of interesting questions for you as well. So, with extensive background in people development, Nisha, how are you seamlessly creating onboarding experience and that foster long-term engagement with employees? How do you do that?
So if I have to talk about long-term engagement, the average tenure of an employee in our group is 8 years. So
Okay.
clearly we are doing something right.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
when it comes to onboarding, my team and me are responsible for it. Are we doing a great job? I think we have a long way to go. Why do I say so? One of the things that I visualize, or rather I want to do, is to have a very personalized onboarding process, because somebody in sales and marketing has a completely different requirement than from somebody in R&D. What we do till now and how many ever inductions I have attended, it's always about one presentation after the other.
Yeah.
So every department comes in, goes bam, bam, bam. And then after the second day of induction, you're actually thinking, who came for what? Yeah?
Absolutely,
So
yes.
I think that is what I want to really overcome. Have we done that as yet? No, we are in the process, but that's one part of it. I think one more thing that I want to do is have some chatbots that's available at the discretion of our employees, so that for topics which are perhaps policy driven,
Yeah.
for regular day-to-day work,
They
they could
can-
just kind of use
Absolutely,
that,
yes,
So
yes.
that's one of the things also that we want to work on. And I think one important requirement, because again, we are a manufacturing unit, hence there's mandatory a lot of things that a new joiner has to go through. Training programs, I
program,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. And today, at this moment, they find it as a big, if I can use the word, tiring and borderline boring. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? So we are basically thinking that could we incentivize this?
Wow.
Not by
Okay.
giving them, of course, nothing monetary, but could we do something like a point system wherein, because of the brands that we are, there is always a lot of accessories around those brands, like maybe just the 4 rings, which is Audi, a cap with the 4 rings can be really cool for our employees to buy. So can we do something like that so the employees are enthused, the new ones, to finish it, and then if they finish it within the time, then maybe we kind of align it to something like that. That's one of the topics also that I have on my mind. And I think post follow-up is really crucial, post induction
Induction,
follow-up,
yes.
wherein somebody is in touch with them, because otherwise they get lost in
They-
the sea of
absolutely,
the
absolutely,
organization.
yes.
Yeah? So these were a few of the things that, like I said earlier, we are working on, and my team is also sitting here, so all of them are really trying to work on that topic. But yeah, maybe next time when we meet, I'll have something more to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, while we are talking about these topics, I also wanted to understand that now inclusivity has become such a big cornerstone
Yes,
for
yes.
all our learning topics. So in an organization of your size, how do you make your learning programs inclusive and accessible to everybody?
Yeah, that's a very important question. Before I get into this, the answer part of it,
Yeah.
I always had this doubt in my mind why we should not include, or why there should not be an inclusiveness
Yeah.
in the organization. So it's all about having that understanding about inclusivity, and also it coming from your heart. The moment you create an initiative for that, it is coming from your brain. I don't believe in that. So fortunately, my organization, my team is sitting there, excellent team, and my organization, we have created that culture of inclusiveness from the day one. So we started our organization in Pune in 2002, and I remember some of our leaders were very, very clear about it. Okay, and those days our organization were known as mechanical software organization, where we still have those. Fantastic products like Katia or Innovia, like used by most of your, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So getting a female candidate or woman employee were very difficult. You need somebody from mechanical engineering background who knows programming language. And initially we did not have, when I joined, we did not have even a single lady staff in our organization. Only HR person was the only person, right? And we tried, our leaders actually tried to influence industry and influence colleges, campus, and get more people. So that culture was already there, inclusiveness culture. So most of the programs what we have is open for everybody, whether it is, regardless of anything, age, sex, or maybe, people coming from various, doesn't matter. It is open for everybody, every level. Of course, there are some trainings which are only for higher level, but otherwise it is open for everybody. The certifications are open for everybody, and we encourage people to do at any level of your career, okay? And more than that, we also ensure that it is based on your competency level. It is not based on anything else, okay? If you are competent enough, if you have attitude of learning, we always appreciate people to learn. And most of your, I'm not saying that it is directly connected with your promotion, but then your journey in our organization is connected with your learning. So that is why it is inclusive. So I don't think there is a problem in inclusivity as far as learning is concerned. It's all about the culture we create in organization. That's how it happens, yeah.
Say that it's a part of the culture, so was it always there, or you kind of...
It was always there, and especially, we are headquartered in Paris, Vélizy, and even from there, we get this vibe, okay? There was no discussion about, I still don't know why we never had discussion about this, It's always including everyone as far as training and upskilling is concerned. It is very important. So we always talk about upskilling because it's all about your competency and your skill and your attitude to learn. You know the skill will matrix, right? I am a big fan of that. So the moment you have that attitude to learn, you're welcome. And your platform is ready, you can directly go and get certified. And that is always considered for your further growth in organization. So that's how it is encouraged.
Great. Good to know that.
Similar thing, I think you are also having a very good competency model in your organization. How do you ensure this model remain relevant even in the current, that's what I would like to know from you.
So competency models for us, of course, we have, I think it's one of the models that has got us a lot of respect even in our group across the world, as in Volkswagen Group. I think one important thing is that we need to know what the business strategy is. When I say we, I mean HR.
Yes.
So I really always talk about this to my team as well, that we cannot exist in isolation. So you could make a competency model and then lock it in the cupboard, or else you completely are aware of the business strategy, the changing trends, and are continuously updating and upgrading your competency models. So
you connect with business
to
get more updates on that?
Yes,
How do
so all of us are completely in touch with we are aware of what the business strategy is, what the emerging trends are in the market. Okay. We also keep ourselves updated with, we have a program called as Industry Institute Partnership, which basically means that all the colleges that work in our domain, we work very closely with them. So hence that also gives us a lot of information about the future trends, because finally auto sector, the change doesn't happen overnight,
right?
Because it's a different kind of an industry from that perspective. However, the change does happen. Like, to give you an example, right now we are all moving from IC engines to EV engines,
right?
And the government is promoting that heavily. So in that situation, as HR, we need to really be updated with what is happening in the business, and that also has kept our competency model relevant. Perfect. One other thing that we keep doing is leadership buy-in, because this can't happen in isolation. So the leadership buy-in is very high in these topics in my organization. So I think these are few of the things which we keep updating ourselves and using the right technology. So for our competency model, we actually call it as career architecture. So that is something where it's not just human intervention, but there is a lot of data analytics that takes place, so that as an employee I can actually see what is my competency today and where do I want to go tomorrow. So there is a lot of transparency as well attached to the process.
Very good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I think that is very important to connect with business and understand. Even for HR folks, they connect with business and get details about latest technology so that they can talk in the same language. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you were talking about reskilling. We just
Yes.
happened to use
Yes.
the word. So could you share anything that's really unique about your organization when it comes to reskilling?
Yeah, absolutely. So coming from business side, even when I was there in services organization, it was very important to reskill people. I would say frequently. You should make yourself relevant in the system, right? So our products, most of our products are changing every year because customers are like Volkswagen, BMW, or all these biggies, and then we need to ensure that the product is competent in the market. So first of all, if you don't know new products, new technology, new way of working, you're not relevant in the market or you're not relevant in the organization. So reskilling become a mandatory step for our organization. And when I came to HR also, we ensured that HR is spreading the same word on reskilling. So we have some programs, especially on reskilling and upskilling. Both are there, not only reskilling. We have some technology you need to upskill people. So for both reskilling and upskilling, we have many programs under our Learn and Grow department. Okay, so how do we do that? So whenever there is a new release coming, we know that there is a new release coming in 2025, okay, and we are preparing for that. We ensure that those topics are coming from our technical vice presidents or senior members, and then we take those details. We ensure that those trainings are happening across the organization at the right time. Okay, people can choose, people can nominate themselves. Some candidates are nominated by their leaders, but some of them, they can nominate themselves and ensure that they are taking that certification, and then they are ready for next level development. From HR side, what we ensure that we ensure that you are always connected with business. They know the terminologies, they know the new technology, they know the new, I would say, at least the names and tricks and traits of all the new technology, so that you can talk to the candidates whom you are going to hire, right? So HR is also upskilled. HR is also reskilled in terms of technology. Recently, we had Python training for entire HR team members, just to understand how it is happening, and AI/ML training for some of the selected HR team members. So it is important from HR side as well as business side to always upskilled.
I think the core of this is that we need to know what is business. Otherwise, we'll work in isolation
Absolutely.
and not have the respect
Right.
in
Yeah.
the true sense.
Very true. We
Yeah.
need to have that respect.
Yeah.
To have that respect, we should always connect with business and understand what is happening.
Yeah.
And accordingly, you upskill yourself.
Right.
Okay. So when we talk about upskilling, it is always important to talk about your high potential team members, right? That those are the one who is actually running the business. So how do you have some effective mechanism to identify and nurture them in your organization? How do you do that?
I think this must be a question in everybody's mind because
Absolutely.
the definition of potential is a big question.
Yeah.
In our organization, we have been through various drills. So there was a time when we did the 9-box. Now, after some years, we think maybe that's not so relevant. The problem with potential, what I see is that I think defining what potential means is really crucial. Yes. The lot of confusion between a good performer and a high potential in where we work. Right. So I think what we started to do is we also spread a lot of communication around this, that it's not just going to be about performance, but also about things which are important from our organization perspective. One of it is being able to work in international with international teams. Also being able to work in an organization where you may not have all the rights. There's going to be a headquarter which will work, with you. Then also I think the SQ level of the people, what is the strategic quotient that they have. Then also checking on their resilience, adaptability. So we built in a potential model where it's not just about performance, but also about these elements. We evaluate these elements through 360. And the other part of it anyways is known through your regular PMS process. Also, we look at cross-functional projects. So then there is a complete holistic view of who should be a potential. Last few years, we have, post-COVID, we have worked wherein we've also come up with a differential compensation for these potentials.
That's
And then when I say differential compensation, first of all, our potential group is very small.
Yeah.
So it's going to be maybe about 4 to 5%. Okay, that also looks quite big actually currently when we are talking about differential compensation. Then what we also see is that can we give them international exposure, because Volkswagen does exist in 60 plus countries. So we try to look at also international exposure.
For training, or they are moving?
No, they go there and
Oh,
they
okay.
work
They work
there.
there.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So we have something wherein they don't go for long periods, but it's a 3-month time period that they go there and build their network there, let's put it this way. Then other than this, we also try hard to work with our the business partners, the HR business partners, to ensure that these potentials have a place in succession planning. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You know, they are there and then you have some other successors. So some marriage between the two is also what we work on, and continuously reviewing the potential list, because who was potential yesterday not necessarily will stay potential. So we don't want to encourage permanent potentials. We want the potential to move to the next level. So these are few of the things we do. Of course, there is a lot of intense work that goes inside it, because the entire process is currently very new. So also the expectation from the managers is this, that give him the differential compensation today and tomorrow I'll choose somebody else as the potential. So there is a round robin, so everybody then gets some compensation. So that's the thought process that goes on. But yes, there's a lot of communication and coaching that has to go through for the managers as well.
So yeah, that's very important. One important point you mentioned is you can't have the same set of people working in the same area as the high potential guys.
Yeah.
You need to rotate them. You need to move them maybe into a different stream, or move them up in the ladder, and then allow others to come in.
Get the new
and
people
then,
in.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
important.
yeah. One thing that I often struggle is, when people ask me, how effective is your program or how effective is your initiative? So in your organization, do you have some matrices or some KPIs wherein you evaluate the impact of your people programs?
Yeah, that's very interesting and well debated question. So we all have a lot of initiatives, but we don't have finishatives. We don't finish it most of the time. Okay, we start and then, and another thing is you get what you ask for. So I'll tell you one example. During my business time, that time it was L&D, learn and develop stream in HR. They were asking for how many people are attending, how many trainings. So finally, you need numbers of training attended by a person. So then I found people are just going and sitting. They are not even working. They are spending time in classroom, not even attending. They just need that tick in the box. So it's normally you get what you ask for. The problem of having parameters for such training, etc., the value come maybe after a year, right? You learn something and you start coding or developing something. The product will come after a year. Do you have enough patience to wait and measure the effectiveness of training and then appreciate that person? That is the question. So most of the initiatives, whatever initiatives we have identified some mechanism to find out what is the real value out of that initiative, and accordingly we measure. So nowadays, trainings are not measured by number of trainings you are attending. Trainings are measured by, for example, very simple example, how many bugs you are introducing into the system, the same person who have attended the training, okay? How quickly you are able to develop something. So it is a long process, but then our management is ready to wait. And even we have introduced that, I would say, created that awareness in people that some of the, the parameters, you won't see it immediately, you will have to wait for it. So this kind of awareness is important. The second is some initiative, employee engagement activities. We have a fantastic employee engagement activity framework. But the problem is, how do you measure? Are they happy about it? So for example, Health and Wellness Charter, Lonika, she's sitting there, she's heading that stream. And we had, the, what do you call for that? The body test, your blood pressure, etc. We did that. And we tried to connect with what are the activities we are going to take in 2025 based out of the result which came for organization last year. Okay. So you need to connect. You need to have some kind of output coming out of it. You need to have some value creation happening. Then only you will have the right parameters to measure. So that is how we are finding, and that's how we are creating parameters to measure all the initiatives. And we ensure that all the initiatives are actually finitiatives also. It is not just starting, it is ending.
Okay, I think that's interesting because we are eager beavers too. We start a lot of things,
Yeah.
and I think my team would agree to that. And then it happens that over a period of time, we do lose steam and then move to a new project.
Yeah,
so I think
absolutely.
this is a great input for us. Yeah.
So you must be also having employee engagement framework, is it?
Yes, we do.
So being a mechanical company, how do you encourage or keep people excited always?
Oh, that's tough. We recently became the GPTW, the Great Place to Work, and also got the top employer. So like I always say, I'm sure we're doing something right. I think when it comes to I can only talk from the learning perspective, that how do we keep our people engaged? You mentioned that there has to be connection between the dots, and that's what we try to do. So I spoke about the career architecture a bit, a few minutes ago. So what we do is that when we have the career architecture, we build competencies, and we also have something called as a skill inventory. So each of the role or each of the department for that matter has a skill inventory, and they know, and this plan is for next 2 years. So it's not just today. For next 2 years, what are the skills we want to build in? And then we kind of work on it. And then as an employee, I exactly know what is it that the organization will invest in me. So there is clear path there. So I'm assuming that also keeps them enthused.
Yes.
And in between, whenever there is a change of role, etc., then that also is taken into consideration. So our career architecture actually feeds in to doing all the kind of learning initiatives for our employees.
Excellent. Excellent. I do have a lot of questions, but I think it is, you can see a red alarm there. So,
Time's up.
yeah, no, I think we don't want to stay between lunch and, you guys. It was nice talking to you,
Same
Nisha,
here.
and I also learned a lot of things. And thank you so much for inducting me in the real HR sense, okay, and like to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm glad that an R&D professional took interest in HR. So I think
I like to be known as a people person,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
being in R&D, so I always liked HR.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's great. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.